my name is Pak from the Package Hybrid, and today we're going to have a look at the sled push. For the sled push, there's 3 different variations to push the sled. You can have your arms extended and your upper body is going down parallel to the floor. You can have the sled holding it with both arms, leaning in, and have your elbows in full flexion. And you can actually hug the sled, so you have the poles of the sled on your elbows. All 3 different variations should be trained, should be tested, because depending on your body shape, depending on your strength, you might favor one over the other. But I highly recommend training all 3 of them. Let's have a detailed look what each and every position looks like. The first one, having your arms extended and your upper body is moving down, so it's parallel to the floor. This one gives you a good pressure point, and it is very important that you keep your upper body parallel to the floor to make sure you're really pushing the sled as efficient as possible. The second one, you have your elbows in full flexion, and then from here you're leaning into the sled and then you push forward. And the last one, which is actually the most common one and most people use it, here the poles are touching your elbows, you're hugging the sled, and then you're leaning into the sled. A couple of things that are very important for all 3 variations. You should not grab the sled too high, because it might happen that the back is lifting off and you're pushing the front into the floor, which creates a lot of friction, and therefore your sled is very, very hard to push. The next tip, when you approach this station, make sure you have a good pressure point when you start the sled push. Don't run into the sled too aggressively, because then we have the problem that I mentioned before. It's going to lift up at the back, and then you're going to have a lot of friction in the front. Approach it, take a step into the sled. Let's say I'm hugging the sled, I'm finding a good pressure point. From here, I get the sled moving, and once it's moving, I'm trying to make small and quick steps. Don't do long steps. Small and quick steps is the most efficient. The last thing I want to talk about is you need to have the sled in all different variations included in your training. But guess what? You're following the Package Hybrid. We took care of that, and trust me, you're going to love all those lovely little sessions when you have to push the sled. Nothing more to say than enjoy the programming, push the sled as hard as you can, and good luck for the next race.